Hello YouTube, it's your boy Nathan coming to you to do another recap video. Today we are talking Little Singles Season 1 Episode 2, Marriage Atroce. Don't know what that means, but okay. But so we're just gonna get on into it. So as we all know, this show, Little Single, is just people with a group of friends who have dwarfism, who are having their little best friend vacation up at Palm Springs in California. We left off last week with that argument between Sammy and Steph because remember, apparently Sammy and Steph had hooked up before, and but Sammy doesn't want anything serious with her at the moment. She really likes him, and then they went out and he got hit on at the or she got hit on at the bar, and he likes Krista, and now there's just a lot of insecurities, and we left off with them arguing about it last week. Now they had it hidden from the leader of the pack. His name was John. What was it, John or Sammy? That one of those two who called themselves Tripod. I forget. Was it John who called himself Tripod last week? I thought that was weird, but okay, that was interesting. But okay. So in this episode, decide everybody's basically hungover from the night before, and when they got back to the house after the night out. Um, Everybody was just like, "What in the world is going on with Steph and Sammy?" So Sammy told John, like, this basically in the middle of the night, when the cameras weren't rolling, that him and Steph basically hooked up in the past and everything, and John didn't know. He's just like, "What the heck? Are you like, are you an idiot? Like, what the heck? Basically, we're all supposed to be best friends here. Like, come on now." So but John basically is like, well, you better have like a conversation at some point because yeah, this could get messy. So the next day arrives, and Steph and JJ decided to go. They wanted to go to the gym and do a workout and stuff and everything. They go to the gym. When they walked in the gym, they felt like people were looking at them and stuff and everything, because a lot of people don't really on average see little people like at the gym lifting weights and working out and stuff. JJ said that explained the challenges working out. It's just that when you're on the treadmill, you have to like jump to turn on the button, and then when you're done, you need somebody nearby to come and turn it off, because if you try to turn it off, you're flying back and everything. But nevertheless, they make it do what it do and stuff. So while they're at the gym, they see this trainer, and he looked pretty good in their eyes and everything. And then he came and introduced himself to him and tried to help him and stuff and everything. And they asked him if he was single. He's like, "Nope, I'm not single." It broke their hearts. It broke Steph and JJ's hearts that trainer wasn't single. So they start working out, and then Steph decides to tell JJ like what's really going on with her and Sammy, and because JJ didn't know, so she tells her the story about her and Sammy and stuff. So many S's, Sammy and Steph and everything. So many S's, so it's gonna get a little confusing. And so Steph tells JJ the story and everything, and JJ said, "You know what? You really don't have to answer to nobody. Like, you're here to have a good time and stuff and everything. You're not here to like cause trouble, break hearts and everything and whatnot and stuff. So just enjoy your time and do your own thing, girl." So after their workout, so the other three, Sammy, John, and Krista, they are going out to a like basically a tailor-made store. Basically, they want to get like, I guess they're going to be celebrating Krista's birthday party. I guess the theme is her last time in the 20s, and that she enters her 30s. She's already 30. She already had her birthday, but they're gonna be throwing her like a big party after party and stuff, and it's supposed to be kind of elegant. So she's gonna be wearing this like really nice dress. I guess the boys are gonna be dressed up in suits, so they gotta go get their outfits and their clothes like basically tailor made and stuff. They go. The worker said that she's never really worked with little people before and stuff and everything, but she made their outfits, got them hemmed and everything, and made everybody fit and stuff and everything. Krista came out in this wonderful dress. She looked really beautiful in it, and they're ready for this party. And I guess like I said, the guy's gonna be wearing tuxedos and stuff. So everybody gets back to the house after that, and we have a visitor coming over, and this guy's name is Anthony, and once again, I guess they met Anthony. I think they all know this Anthony guy, but I guess he has like a special connection and a friendship with Krista. And they all met, of course, at the Little People of America convention and stuff and everything. So Steph decides to invite Anthony because she wants to play a little matchmaker to Krista and stuff. And I'll talk more about that in a sec, because now everybody's out hanging out by the pool and stuff and chilling, and they're putting on sunscreen and stuff and everything. And Sammy decides to rub sunscreen using Steph's sunscreen lotion on Krista's legs and stuff. And Stephanie was just getting so upset about it. She just walked up and left, and she was just like so really, really upset about it and everything. And so John has to go and says, like, dude, John had to go and tell Sammy, like, dude, you just put lotion on another girl in front of Steph. Like, and Sammy was like, I don't want to talk about it. And John was like, no, you need to talk about it soon, basically. So, because, Steph is really getting insecure about it. And she said that she hates feeling this way and stuff. So, but nonetheless, so the main story about this is with Krista is that she's really never been with a little person before, and she really likes, I guess she likes this Anthony guy apparently, but she also wants to still go on a date with Sammy and stuff. So Steph decides to invite Anthony over. So this guy named Anthony comes over. At first when he came in, I thought he was gonna come in and like show out, but he was actually really cool and stuff. So he comes in and sees everybody sitting in the hot tub and stuff. Krista sees him. She's like, oh my God, what are you doing here? And stuff and everything. She was so shocked. What are you doing here? So she said she didn't really want him seeing her in the bikini and stuff like that. He was like, well, the last time we saw each other, we were in a hot tub and stuff in the bikini. So Krista gets out the pool and goes and puts some clothes on and stuff. And they sat and had a date and stuff and everything. Well, I wouldn't say a date, but they just had like a nice conversation, talked about the Little People of America convention and stuff and everything. Now, as I said, Steph invited him for a reason, because now Krista doesn't know that Steph and Sammy hooked up yet at this point. So Krista is just like has options at this point. They're making her, I think this is editing and this is probably produced a little bit, but they're making her, so she's the blonde and everything and all that. They're making her be the person that has the most interest in a lot of the guys, basically, and stuff and everything. So Steph decided to be sneaky. She's like, Krista's never been with a little person before, and she does like Anthony, so she brought Anthony over just so Krista can get her mind off of Sammy and into Anthony, so Steph and Sammy can can develop something, basically, and everything. And John pointed that out. This is like a big love triangle, love square, whatever you want to call it, basically. So that was basically that. They had a nice conversation, and this Anthony guy asked Krista on a date, and she said yeah, but she was just like, whoever does it first, basically. And then of course Krista had to name the list of what she wants in a guy. She said she made one of those lists. It wasn't too bad compared to other people, but gotta have a job, you gotta be close with your mother, you gotta be well in depth, you gotta love to travel, you had to be an animal lover. She had this big list of what she wants in a man. I was just like, oh, here we go. I mean, those weren't too bad compared, like I said, to other people, but it's still what it was. So Anthony, so Sammy was seeing Anthony and Krista like talking on the patio, flirting with each other, and he was starting to feel a certain type of way. So he's in the house with JJ and John and Steph, and he turns to Steph and says, "Where are you sleeping tonight?" And she was like, "Why?" And he's like, "Just wondering." And he's like, "Where are you sleeping at?" And like, probably like wherever my heart takes me. And Steph was just like, "No, I know what he's trying to do, and I'm nobody's second option." And I'm like, "Good for you, Steph. Good for you," because I do think that, I don't know. I do think Sammy is playing the game a little bit, and he's trying to make her jealous. But I do think Steph is one of those people that's going to just keep falling for the manipulation and stuff and everything. And I'll talk more about that in the preview for next week. So they get into a little spat about where they're sleeping, and then Anthony leaves and everything. They all say goodbyes and everything. Next thing we know, Steph and Sammy once again have another fight at the end of the episode. There, Steph is just wanting the respect and everything, and just like questioning like what is he doing and stuff and everything. Now they're being loud. Sammy's just yelling, "I'm so sorry," and yelling, "How many times I can say I'm sorry? You're my best friend. I don't want to keep fighting with you. I love you," and this and that. And she's like, "Cool," and everything. And she's just like, "I hate feeling this so insecure and stuff because I really do have feelings for you and everything." Meanwhile, while they arguing, John, JJ, and Krista are actually hearing the argument and are just like, "What is going on?" So John basically told him like, "Yeah, they apparently." Krista was like, "Are they hooking up?" And John was like, "Yeah, it's complicated and stuff, but it has nothing to do with you." So JJ told her, "Yeah, you are innocent in all this. This is between them, not you." So basically, Krista has found out and everything. And after Sammy and Steph were fighting, Steph goes into her room and she starts crying. And the girls came and checked on her and stuff and everything. And Krista was just like, "I'm so sorry, I didn't know." And she wasn't mad at Krista. She was just like, "I'm not blaming you. You really didn't know," and everything. So now Krista is now caught between a rock and a hard place because she was just like, "I do not want to make myself look like a villain here and stuff," and I'm not. If Sammy and Steph had a connection, Steph said, "What, should have been like, yeah, you know what, Krista, I'm so sorry. I should have told you about this instead of hid this from you because I knew eventually it would have came out and everything." But this is just where it's all at, basically. And this is where we left off at the cliffhanger. Now, judging by the previews of next week, it looks like Steph and Sammy are going to be kissing and stuff. And then we're going to have that big party and stuff for Krista's birthday party and stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, this is, someone in my comment section said that this was produced and said that they know somebody that's on the show. So I'm starting to figure out what is produced and whatnot. And as I said, I think they're making Krista, the blonde, look like the person that has the options. And then you need somebody toxic like Steph and Sammy. Well, I wouldn't say they're toxic, but they have like that dynamic of what TLC wants. They want to create some kind of drama created for TLC because we all know TLC likes the drama and stuff and everything. So I'm starting to think that that's probably it. I'll do more research throughout the week and come back to you guys and see like, okay, what's really going on behind the scenes and what they're producing and stuff and everything, because but nonetheless though, even though it is creating a little bit of drama, it's not this I do like this show because even though they're trying to create stuff, it's not really all that toxic. Like these people are really nice. I do like these people. They're really nice, and they experience challenges that we that a lot of us are not going to understand and stuff. And I've been a big advocate for standing up for people who are short and stuff and everything, especially when it comes in the romance department and stuff and everything. Krista says she's never dated an LPA, a little person before, but Like she's open to trying something different and stuff and everything. She goes for average height guys, and that's fine. That's fine too. But you know what? Everybody deserves love. Whether you're tall, short, black, white, whatever, everybody deserves love. We all need love. That's just my opinion. Not everybody's gonna agree with that and everything. So somebody like Sammy and Steph and Krista deserve to should have a fair shot at somebody who is like the tallest person in the world. Okay, I'm just saying. If they have a good personality and they get along and they have things in common and stuff and everything, they can make it work. They can make it work. And just because the height is not ideal for everybody, you know, there's other parts on your on the human body that you can look at as attractive. Don't just settle yourself for that one thing. You know, they may still have like a pretty face. They may still have a good fit body. They still may have a six pack. You know, there's just so many different things that you can look at instead of just height. You know, I know, like I talk about this all the time, and people don't agree with me, but there's other ways to be attractive. Don't just look at that one thing and just and close your mind to it, you know, and everything. So that's just my opinion. But anyway, that was basically it of this episode. Again, I like this show. I really do. So yeah, that was basically it. All right, guys, that is the end of my review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll be back on Sunday, Monday to recap 90 Day Fiancé. So yeah, this shows a nice little change of pace of that. But yeah, and I'll be back to do 90 days. So love you guys. Have a great rest of your week. Bye, y'all.